Cells of the immune system, mast cells. So in about 1878, Paul Ehrlich had kind of um, given a specific role to a certain immune cell, and that cell was mast cells, and these mast cells um, were then considered to be mainly associated as or mainly considered to be an effector of allergy. However, over a period of time, it has become clear that one has to look beyond allergy when one thinks of mast cells because they have been found to have a role in various aspects or various areas. So let us look at the learning outcomes of the session. Mast cells of the myeloid cell lineage are found in connective tissues throughout the body and have an important role in several pathophysiological conditions. This is important because it is not just observed to have a role under pathological conditions, it is also able to carry out a role in normal physiological conditions. So mast cells can get activated and they undergo degranulation on activation. And this degranulation leads to releasing of several mediators that enable either physiological response or a pathological response. The normal physiological functions that are associated with mast cells include vasodilation. They are helping in both innate and adaptive immunity and angiogenesis. Mast cells are associated with diseases such as asthma, anaphylaxis, cardiovascular diseases, gastrointestinal disorders, etc. This has especially been seen in mast cell activation syndrome. Now, when one looks at development and maturation of mast cells, like almost all immune cells, mast cells too begin their development in the bone marrow from the hematopoietic stem cells. So the hematopoietic stem cells give rise to multipotent progenitor cells, which finally give rise to common myeloid progenitor cells, and these common myeloid progenitor cells give rise to granulocyte monocyte progenitor cells. This in turn goes to forming basophil or mast cell progenitor cells, and from this what is developed is the mast cell precursor. Now this migrates into the blood, and from the blood the mast cell precursor gets into tissues, especially connective tissues, and they differentiate into what is called as the functional mast cell. Now, this mast cell can be inactive, and on getting exposed to or by different stimulus or triggers, they can become activated. So, activation and degranulation of mast cells is what we will try to look at. So, when one looks at the structure of the mast cells, you can see that there are several different granules that are present in the mast cells. This forms the nucleus, and this is what is formed as this is what is looking like, or what you observe is many granules that are present. Now, uh, when one looks at the mast cell in general, one finds that it has what is called as Fc epsilon R1. Now, this is basically a receptor, an Fc receptor for IgE, specifically IgE, immunoglobulin E. And therefore, immunoglobulin E on binding to the Fc epsilon receptors can activate the mast cells. There are toll-like receptors present on its surface which can recognize various patterns on microbes, and the microbes can directly interact with the toll-like receptors and activate the mast cells. Similarly, there are other receptors present which, based on different stimulus, can activate the mast cells. Now, what happens when the mast cells get activated? In fact, what is observed is there are different types of molecules that are released by the mast cells uh, um, instantly, or after a few minutes, or after a few hours. So, in seconds of degranulation, or in seconds of getting activated, what is first observed is that the mast cells get degranulated, and this is in seconds. So degranulation leads to release of several mediators, for example, histamine, TNF alpha, tumor necrosis factor alpha, tryptase and chymase, and several types of bioamines. Histamine, for example, is associated with vasodilation, it is associated with bronchoconstriction, it is associated with smooth muscle contraction, it is associated with permeability of the blood vessels, and therefore you would associate histamine with everything that is related to an allergic reaction. So, therefore, histamines have been implicated in allergy. And whenever a person suffers from an allergic reaction, one observes that the medication generally given is antihistamines. Tryptase and chymase, for example, chymase is responsible for degrading the extracellular matrix. There are several amines that are associated with the granules present, for example, serotonin, dopamine, etc. And these are especially useful when one looks at it in the new nervous system per se. Then, after a few minutes, what has been observed is that the mast cells also release leukotrienes and prostaglandins. Again, prostaglandins are associated with leukocyte migration, they're associated with vascular permeability. So, effectively, these are going to contribute to inflammation per se, and therefore, again, associated with allergic reactions. But they also give rise to cytokines, chemokines, and growth factors after several hours. So TNF alpha, IL-4, IL-5, IL-6, IL-13, IL-17, these are the cytokines that are released, or the chemokines that are released by the mast cells. For example, VEGF, okay, are chemokines that are responsible for neoangiogenesis, so they help in angiogenesis. Similarly, mast cells also help in bone growth. So therefore, other than allergic reactions, you can find that mast cells have found a role in development of a lot of tissues in the body, and also repair and apoptosis of cells, because certain mast cells have also been found to have caspase 3. So interestingly, mast cells after degranulation can regranulate again. This is something that has been observed and studied quite extensively. Now, mast cell activation. What are the potential mechanisms of mast cell activation? So, we already looked at the fact that you have what is called as Fc epsilon receptors. So, you can have IgE binding to the Fc epsilon receptors, but you can also have Fc gamma receptors for IgGs. Now, if you have two IgEs present on two Fc epsilon, and you have the antigen cross-linking two IgEs, then a signal transduction is sent across to lead to degranulation of the mast cells. So histamines, etc., are released. Now, a complement system of the innate immune system, these are molecules of immune system, which can bind to receptors present on the surface. So there are complement receptors present on the surface of the mast cells, and the mast cells can get activated by complement system. You have toll-like receptors present on the surface of the mast cells, which can recognize certain patterns on bacteria, and therefore they can recognize or interact with the bacterial surfaces directly. They can also interact with T cells, and many of these T cells can also be regulatory T cells. So, thereby, mast cells have a potential function in regulation of the immune system as well. So, immunoregulation is something that mast cells can also carry out through T cells, and those T cells are T regulatory cells. So, coming to what are the mast cell action on immune cells, mast cells can carry out can actually convert inactive dendritic cells into active dendritic cells, and we know that dendritic cells are antigen presenting cells. They can activate the proliferation of B cells, so can help in humoral mediated immunity. So you have antibodies that can be formed specifically against a particular antigen. You can also have antigen presentation and leading to formation of T effector cells. So they can be T helper cells that can that can mediate again activation of either B cells or cytotoxic T lymphocytes. It can also activate T regulatory cells. So, with activating T regulatory cells, what can happen is immunosuppression can take place by releasing certain cytokines like IL-10, etc. Then mast cells can also be having potential action on polymorphonuclear cells, that is for example macrophages and monocytes. So therefore you can see how mast cells can have an influence on all types of immune cells in the body. So let us make the conclusions. Mast cells are found all over the body, especially in the epithelial layers and connective tissue, contributing to innate immunity as first line of defense. So they are the ones that can recognize foreign antigens and thereby give rise to a certain immune response. They get activated by allergens through IgE, which in turn activates mast cells to degranulate and release several factors that are pro-inflammatory and can give rise to allergic reactions. They are able to carry out several physiological functions such as angiogenesis, homeostasis, tissue damage repair, etc. Mast cells can regulate immune cells through secretions of cytokines, chemokines, and growth factors. So mast cell, denoted as multifunctional master cells, have been found to be instrumental in immune regulation, innate immunity, adaptive immunity, with a tilt sometimes towards hypersensitivity in response to stimuli. And hypersensitivity over here is what we refer to as allergy. Thank you.